Okay, I've booted up my Mac holding down the power key for, well, it was about 5-10 seconds, and I got the message to hold for startup options. I continue to hold the button down, and now I've got this prompt here to choose either Macintosh hard drive or options. So in this case, I'm going to choose options so we can boot into macOS recovery. I'm going to click on options and click continue. And now it's beginning to load macOS recovery. All right, now we are inside the macOS recovery partition. You can see here that I've got recovery listed here in the applications menu. Recovery, while it looks like macOS, is a very light environment and gives me just a few options. Let's review a few of these. So first we'll go up to the utilities menu. I've got a startup security utility here where I can set a password on getting back into macOS recovery in the future. I've got the option to go into terminal, which will bring me up a Unix command prompt, allow me to use Unix commands through the command line utility. I can also choose to share my disk. If I wanted to map this hard drive to a connected Mac via USB, I can do that here. I can change my startup disk if I want to boot off of a different hard drive instead of the one that's internal. I can also restart and shut down here as well. I have the ability to restore a backup from Time Machine, reinstall a copy of macOS completely, launch Safari and surf the web. If I need to look up, maybe I need to find some troubleshooting tips or Google something that might be happening with my machine, I have the ability to use Safari right here to do that. And finally, disk utility. Using disk utility through macOS recovery gives me full control of the internal hard disk. Whereas if I'm using this through macOS itself, some of the things are limited because I'm actually booting up off of the hard drive that I might actually want to be able to access. So in this case, let's go ahead and use disk utility. I'm going to click on it and then click continue. Now it's loaded disk utility in a pre-boot state. So as I mentioned, I have full control of the hard drive at this point, which is right here. And I can see my hard drive, both my main Macintosh hard drive and the virtual drive that contains any of my data. Let's say, for example, I'm having a problem booting up off the hard disk. Let's first try using Disk First Aid and see if we can find any errors and repair them. So I can go ahead and just click on the Macintosh hard drive. And then over here, I've got this option for Disk First Aid. I'm going to go ahead and click on that. And it's going to ask me if I'd like to run Disk First Aid. I'm going to say yes. And it's trying to run it. I can show details and see a little more detail about what was going on here. And everything appears to be working just fine. For those of you coming from a Windows world, this is similar to check disk. Just verifies that there's not any errors with the drive itself, any corruption or fragmentation, and it tries to repair it. So everything's good here, so I'll go ahead and hit done. And I have nothing else I need to do inside disk utility at this time, so I'm going to go ahead and close out of it. And that takes me back to this menu. And now I can shut down, or I can restart my Mac off the internal hard disk. So in this case, I'm just going to shut down.